Welcome, guys, to Evolution 2026. It's here, January 1st. New dreams, new hopes, and 33 amazing calls all January. And I felt it was super aligned. I got a message the day that we put out booking, and Gabby said, you know what? I took the first day, and I felt like I just didn't want to take the first day, and that's why I did it. And I loved that. So, Gabby Roberts, welcome to Evolution 2026. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm doing so well. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm doing great, full of energy and full of presence for what I think is about to take place this month, which is super exciting. I'm super excited you get to be our first guest today, Gabby. I'm going to start you off with an easy one. Who are you? Where are you from? And yeah, who's Gabby Roberts?
Awesome. Well, thank you for the intro, the pass off. I'm a nervous system guide. I help leaders rewire their nervous system so they feel safe and confident, fully showing up as themselves in their lives, in their business, in their relationships. Um, I've been doing this about 2.5 years now. I'm originally from Atlanta. I lived in Colorado for a while and then really missed the East Coast. So I came back down here to be warm, not freeze up there anymore. But yeah, I've been on this journey, on my own healing journey for about 4 or 5 years, and that's really what inspired me to start this company to help other people grow with Gabby. So that's what I'm here to do is help others grow and heal and get to the point where they can feel like themselves. I also just joined a team this year with Dr. Stephen Bushima and Jamie Coleman for the Magnetic Memberships team. So I help them help all of our clients grow on the Skool platform as well. So yeah.
I love that. And Dr. Steve and Jamie Kuhlman are kind of a core conducer to a lot of us in this community, where a lot of us
Yeah.
met and found foundations. So that's a cool reference. Um, your school community is aligned and unapologetic, and we talked about this in your meet and greet. But my question
Mhm.
about your community is, where do you want to meet people in their healing journey with Skool?
Okay. I want to meet people where they're at, most importantly. I named it Aligned and Unapologetic for a reason because there's so many people saying, do it this way and follow this path and go this way. And there's a lot of shiny objects and there's a lot of different paths that you can take. But to be truly aligned and unapologetic, the most important part of meeting someone where they're at in their healing journey is to not try to change them. It's okay to be exactly where you're at. It's okay to be in the messy middle. It's okay to feel like you're grateful for what you have, but still want more. So for me, it's just showing up and being there for them where they're at, even if that means they're super messy, even if they have some success, but they're still feeling burnt out, just to show up non judgmental and give them a safe space to land where they can be okay with whatever stage of healing that they're in. Some people are brand new, they're have no idea what healing looks like. They don't know how to regulate their nervous system. Some people are very far along. They've already built a beautiful business and successful relationships, but they're still not feeling aligned. So show up messy, show up yourself, show up unapologetic. Those are my people that I
I
like to
love
help.
that.
Mhm.
I love that. So, I think a lot of people, if you're a human, you've experienced trauma, right?
Mm.
If you experienced something that has had a dramatic change on the way you're wired, the way you think, the way you
Mhm.
believe about yourself, how, it's kind of sad in my mind that I didn't know for a long time that I could like heal certain things. You get stuck in a
Mhm.
this is the way I am thing. How my journey started in a pretty unique way. How did your healing journey kind of like begin? When were you like, I have to do something?
Yes. I like that you used that phrase specifically, that I have to do something. And my word is different. Because for me, when I was am healing, when I started, I grew up in a really toxic environment with parents that fought constantly, and not like the little bickers. I mean, cops, blood, tears, fighting, screaming, like really pure chaos my whole life. And then I grew up believing that love and acceptance was very conditional, and it was very judged, and it was very like, you have to be this certain person or people won't love you. So I lived a very lonely life, which surprises me saying that out loud because I was with a family full of 7 of us. You know, there was a huge family of 1 of 7 kids, but we all internalized that trauma in different ways, and it showed up in different ways. And for me, I felt personally really alone and scared, and like I had no idea who to turn to, who to trust. I mean, my parents taught me that it was weak and pathetic to open up, to ask for help, to be not okay. And really, so many times in my healing journey, it's been where I was not okay that showed me the way. And so one of the biggest aha moments was when I tried to take my own life, about 5 or 6 years ago. And it's in that moment where I realized, okay, you have a choice. You can keep living the way that you're living, or you can give up. You can die. And I know that sounds really, really awful, but that's where I was at. And it was like, you know what? I'd like to say that I took that choice and I was like, you know what? I want to live. I didn't. I didn't want to live. I was like, this is, if this is what life is like, then I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I can't live like this anymore. And I chose to try to end my life. And it's actually the only reason I'm here is my dog. He's the most calm, kind, loving, gentle animal you'll ever meet, but he straight up like, I wouldn't use the word attack, but he threw his body into me when I was like ready to end it all. I had 90 sleeping pills in my hand and I was just ready to give it up. And I didn't know a way out. But when he knocked these pills out of my hands, I realized like, holy shit. It's not that I want to die. It's genuinely that I want a different situation. I want my life to be different, and no one is going to change my life but me. So I was living in Colorado at the time. I was cold, alone, scared, like didn't know where to go from there. And I felt like my dog really gave me this like second chance. And I get like teary eyed talking about it because
Yeah.
he's the most gentle dog ever, but he just straight up like manhandled me and was like, nope. And then I kind of came out of this trance of like, oh my God, that's what I almost just did. And it was like, okay, what can I do to live my life differently? Because if I'm this alone and this scared and feeling so anxious and have no tools, it's truly not that I wanted death. It's just that I didn't know the way out. It felt so dark and so alone and so scary. And this isn't the first time I felt suicidal, or it's just the first time I acted on it. And I'd felt lost and alone since I was little. So for it to just accumulate over the years and just build and build and build and build and have nowhere to go. I mean, it started with self-harm, but then it progressed and I just was like, I'm out. So the fact that I got that second chance, I realized, what am I doing right here, right now? That's killing me from the inside out. I was drinking to numb the pain because I didn't know how to manage my anxiety. I was a dancer working in the club, a very toxic environment that, was very external validating, but deeply not good for the psyche. And I just realized, like, if I don't get out of this place, I'm going to be right here where I am right now, ready to take my own life again. So if I don't move in some way, even if it's messy, even if it's unapologetically whatever that looks like, I have to be okay with it, and I have to stop running, and I have to make some new decisions. So I decided to move, and I completely changed my entire environment. It felt like I was repotting like my soil, my roots, my plant, if you will, in poisoned soil. Because everywhere I looked in Colorado was just trauma and bad memory. And I just felt like I couldn't get any moment of peace. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna scrap the whole thing, go somewhere completely new. And that just gave me a chance to start over. And not because I was running from it, which I was for a while, but it all followed me to North Carolina. But it gave me a chance to at least repot myself in this fresh soil that isn't as poisoned. Gives me like a chance to determine who I want to be, because who I was at that time just wasn't working, wasn't sustainable. So
First off,
Wow, that's an amazing story. First of all, I want to say that you have like an angel of a fur baby that literally saved your life, and I mean, dogs are amazing.
he's right here next to me.
Yeah, it's so powerful that animals sometimes can see. Well, not sometimes. I feel like they can see into our soul, and they're really just picking up on the energy. And I think we have a lot to learn from animals. I feel like it's safe to say that this moment was kind of like a rock bottom moment for you, and I really admire your spirit that you had this kind of awareness of like, oh my God, what am I doing? And also the recognition of I have a choice, because I think that's the first step out of the victim mentality, right? When you actually realize that you have a choice.
Yeah.
My question would be is like, what was, other than repotting yourself in this more fertile and kind of accepting soil, what was your first step towards who you are now? What was your first tool on your healing journey, or how did you even begin?
Mm. Yeah, that's a great question. Give me one sec. I just need to cough. Still getting over a little cold here. But I'd say like my first introduction to healing was probably awareness first, because I just didn't realize how, I don't even like to use the word toxic, but like unhelpful the tools that I had was. They weren't serving me. They were just kind of helping me survive. And I'm thankful for those moments. But in survival mode like that, you don't really sit there and assess if the tools are good for you or not. You're just like, well, I'm here. At least I'm not dead. So when someone introduced, I think he was a therapist of mine, like saying, just being okay with the fact that you're not okay. And at first she was like, that's from your childhood, right? Like some of your behavior that you do, the shutting down, the running away, the not asking for help, the not accepting the help, the defensiveness, the victim mentality, like it's all from your childhood. And of course, at first I was like, no, like there's no way. Excuse me. And I denied it for a while because I was like, that just doesn't even make sense to me. So really just that awareness took me a long time. And before I could even take action to grow and to start using the tools that I'm acquiring and learning, it just took me sitting with it, being like, oh, okay. So I wasn't raised in a very good way. I wasn't given the tools. So when I was given something like affirmations to try to ground myself, or deep breathing, I genuinely told my therapist, I was like, this is stupid. No, this is stupid, right? This isn't gonna work. Like, and so I doubted it, I denied it, I ran from it. But I eventually realized that if I can say some affirmations that actually do feel real to me, then that allows me to really see myself for the little girl that I am, who was traumatized and didn't deserve those things. But I think before I even got to the um the affirmations, I think there's a level deeper. I think it was like my sleep schedule. It was like I'm not resting, I'm not slowing down, I'm not sleeping. I'm just up 24/7 because I can't slow down. I can't rewire my nervous system at all because my brain is racing. I have no tools to help me at all. So I think one of my first things before the affirmations was my sleep schedule. Is like that was a big win for me, is just sleep 8 hours. Just try. Because I'd get up 6, 7, 8 times a night, tossing and turning, having panic attacks. Just my body was in such chaos mode and fight or flight
Survival
that
mode,
didn't
yeah.
know how to slow down, not even to sleep. And even times I'd sit down on the couch just to rest, I'd have like a panic attack from the way I was raised. So it was just a lot of awareness, a lot of compassion, a lot of kindness, and a lot of just like the little things. Like if you want to sleep in today, you're allowed to do that. Just being very
Yes,
gentle.
sleep and water. I always say these are two of the most affordable, really, and most powerful ways
Yeah.
to shift your physical health, because it's so important. I mean, we're literally like 70% water, 90 on molecular base.
Yeah.
So, and what was, other than the awareness, what was then the new path ahead of you? Was there already an idea of leaning into this as a career, or this probably something that came later on?
Yeah, this definitely came later on for me. At first, it was just all about survival. Like, how
Mm,
can I live? Like, I've
yeah.
made the choice that I'd like to live, but how do I do that?
Mm,
What path do I take? What's my next step forward? And I actually started leaning on Rob Dial really
mm,
heavily in his podcast, and just hearing about some of the mindset things, and connecting with other people made me feel a little less crazy, because in a family full of trauma, like no one taught us emotional regulation, no one taught us any kind of tools, any kind of resources to help us. So when I started saying affirmations out loud, I was like, I look crazy, I sound crazy, I hate this, this doesn't make any sense. So I just tried to connect with as many people who are also on this path as I could. So I listened to Rob Dial, I implemented everything he said about, you know, pushing back on some of those negative thoughts about myself, because the inner critic is really loud, because I have CPTSD. So if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Most people think of CPTSD, especially if you're uneducated at all, as like a war vet, right? Like they have their one moment and they're always flashing back to the war, and they absolutely do. But with some people, specifically if you didn't get emotional or physical love between the ages of 0 and 2, no matter your behavioral issues, it's not about you, it's about the way that you were parented. Most people will grow up with complex PTSD. So it's multiple flashbacks from all over every time you've ever had anything traumatic ever. And that doesn't always have to be physical abuse or sexual abuse. It can be those things as well, but sometimes it's just simply not being loved or given the attention that you needed, the space, the compassion when you were little. So I leaned on as many people as I possibly could, knowing if I just keep going down this path, I'll be okay. So it wasn't until years later that I was actively working here in North Carolina for um, a restaurant, this cute little wine bar. You know, I was a server. It was fine, I guess, but I realized I've been doing this healing journey for years now, and I've helped other people get to where I'm at. Excuse me. Excuse me. So I've helped other people get to where I'm at, but I'm still not happy. And it just felt really weird and disconnected. So I was serving one day and I realized my my body started like rejecting being on my feet, being in a high stress environment. And I was like, I don't understand. I've been in a high stress environment my whole life. Like, what is this? And eventually I was diagnosed with chronic gastritis, which means your stomach lining is inflamed from years of trauma, high stress, drinking alcohol and spicy food, which I don't really eat spicy food. It was definitely the drinking and the stress. But I realized after years of those were my coping techniques, that what I'm doing again, I had that theme, like this isn't working. And so I was told my boss, you know, hey, I am not happy here. Like I'm sick. They not only docked my hours completely, but they made fun of me for needing extra time. They told me that I was lazy. They told me that I wasn't a good server, and they just made me feel really awful. And so I sat with that because I never thought I'd be a coach. I never ever saw myself here at all. I just wanted to feel better. And then I realized, like, as I was working for this boss, that I would never treat people like that. I would never do that. In fact, I'd give them breaks of their own. Like the Pomodoro technique that I learned from Rob Dial is like, I give you these tools, these resources for you to feel good in your job, because I'm not just a placeholder. I'm not just a role to fill. Like I'm a human being and I would like to be treated as one. So that's actually how I started. I was listening to Rob Dial and just focused on survival and being okay. And then years passed and I was like, man, I think I'm a lot better than before. So he was like, hey, you know, do you want to be a coach making $10,000 a month and working for yourself and working from home? And at the time, working for this boss who didn't care about me at all, whether I quite literally lived or died. I was like, yes, I'm so in. So it was just mainly about me and survival. But then I got to a point where I was like, I think I can help other people do that too. So then I went into the Rob Dial program a couple
That's
years.
great. Yeah. Hey, listening to you in the last little bit, I've known a lot of this, right? We've connected in Rob Dial's programs, Business Breakthrough and Business Mastery, and we've talked about a lot of this stuff. And I didn't realize how linear and parallel our trauma journeys really were. I had a very similar
Mm,
family, less kids.
mm,
My father committed suicide when he was young, so it was always something that
mm,
I thought of. I've been in that. I just want to be different. I don't want to be me. I don't want to live this
mhm.
life. I've been there.
Yeah.
And so thank you to you and your dog for that not happening. But it's
Mm,
crazy how parallel those visions are, because I did the same thing. I was like, I'm going to do something different. And then the first
mhm.
thing I did was I listened to Rob Dow's podcast. And then I did my journey.
Wow.
And I ended up in watching the same ad that got me into the same
Mhm.
program. So it's crazy that I was like, wow. I was like, my journey a little bit. And why that sticks out to me is you took trauma and turned it into wanting to spread that message, right? Hey, I don't have to live this way. And that's how I was. Wait a minute. I lived a decade thinking I was stuck this way. Identity isn't stagnant, it changes. Do you believe as you started to get more confident and started to change your identity, that that's really where the business and Skool and, hey, I can help others in the masses? Is that where that really came from? Was just confidence?
Yeah. It came from confidence, yes, but it also came from a very deep place of wanting to fix everyone else because I thought I was broken. And so it's like if I could fix what was broken inside me, then maybe I could help other people. But what I realized after I stopped running, because God, I ran and I ran and I ran and I ran, and I don't even like running. But I did. I ran and I tried to find every way around healing that I possibly could, but the only way out is through. And so when I finally stopped running, I realized I was running from my superpower. And I'm over here being made fun of for my whole life for being too sensitive, too much, too emotional, too this, too that. And that's literally what people need from me to become the healer that I was always meant to be. So it's really interesting that yes, I wanted to help and I wanted that confidence, but it was like this deep sense of like I would never treat somebody the way that I have been treated. And I can help other people see that not only are you not broken, but you were just conditioned to think these things about yourself that wasn't even true all along. So all this time, and what really like blew me up on with my business and all of this, because at first I was terrified. I was like, yes, I got myself here, but I'm not fucking qualified to help anybody else. Like, hell no. I'm over here like barely okay now. Who am I to try to help somebody else? But I'm like, you know what? I'm alive. There's so many people who aren't. And that right there helped so much is like just the survival techniques. But the confidence and all of that came when I just stopped trying to pretend that I was anyone other than Gabby freaking Roberts. Like the woman I was meant to be, the healer, the guide, the leader, the person who wasn't meant to bring any kind of justice or retribution to the people who hurt me. No, it was to meet that frustration and that pain with love, because that is the only way to heal anyone else. And the only way to help other people is by modeling the behavior that you want to see. So at first I was terrified to bring this business up. I was so scared to be seen, to record myself, to put myself out there. And this version you see now is from years of pushing myself out of my comfort zone, doing things that scared the shit out of me because it was a choice. You can either keep going and you can choose your heart and you can do the things that scare you and be confident and help other people, or you can hide and you can run and you can stay the same. And I think staying the same and not changing and losing the people you love is more scary than growing will ever will be, even though growing is incredibly uncomfortable. So when I came to Skool and I really things started to click, it's when I just stopped hiding. Even if it was messy, even if it was unapologetic, even if I was like literally sobbing ugly cries, and I was okay with it because my family never let me cry. In fact, I was basically raised as a boy. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. I wasn't allowed to have anything feminine, slowing down, nurturing, calming, loving, caring, nothing. It's why the first 10 clients that I worked with were actually all men, because it's not feminine or masculine to slow down or to heal. It's human. You all have nervous systems. You all have bodies and minds and brains that need certain things. So it's like this version, this mask that everyone glamorizes healing, or you have to be this like woo woo, spiritual person. It's like, no, you're just a human being who didn't have the tools that they needed. And now you do. And I get to not only be the light for people in the dark, but I get to be the child, the adult that my inner child needed. And she needed me so bad. She begged, she prayed, she was like, please, someone like help me. And no one came for her. And that broke my heart. But that's okay, because I get to now help her. And I get to show people by doing the nervous system work and by regulating your body and your emotions, you get to hold more. So this confidence came so much later, after all of the action that was taken and all of the just ickiness of it all, So that was a long-winded answer, but
No,
yeah, it's
honestly why I
inspiring to
was so
see us
excited
both
you were
on
coming.
similar paths.
I actually find that usually it doesn't matter who I talk to, all of us have trauma, right? And that's the gold. That's your medicine, but you have to deal with it first. You have to, as you were saying, the only way is through. And I truly see this pattern breaker in you, because I also strongly feel that what happened to you, all the people who gave you that trauma, they didn't do it because they were evil, but they didn't know better. They also received trauma, and it just gets passed on as long as somebody is brave enough to say, like, not anymore.
And that's why it can feel so heavy and so difficult, because sometimes we're not just healing the trauma for us. We're healing for the generations that came before us. And to step out of this family dynamic of Gabby being the gullible, idiot, punching bag, sensitive little like baby is hard, because that's what I was to a lot of my family. It was like, you know, she heals so publicly. She's so sensitive. She's so emotional. She's so dramatic. But it's like those things, I have to go first. And to lose people and family and have people make fun of you, like, that's one of my biggest fears in life, is the fear of abandonment. I've been abandoned so many times. I don't speak to my parents. I'm fairly close with any of my many siblings. So it's to feel that, to go first, like, oh, it's so hard, but someone's got to. Someone has to go first, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's so freaking scary. Because even today, even right here, right now, I still feel that fear of going first, of breaking the generational trauma. But you have to just feel it and do it anyway, because at that point, you're not just feeling better. You're not just connecting with friends. You are literally breaking generational trauma that was given to you by people who didn't even know that they had it, and people before them didn't know that they had it. Like, it's in your bones, it's in your soul, but it's things that you can choose to end with you. I choose that this ends with me. I will not treat my children the way that my parents treated me. I not only in breaking generational trauma here, but we're shaping the future of the children when people decide to act different. We're making hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars more money to not only help with our lives and our family, but we get to donate to other causes of other traumatized families and sex trafficking. And like, this business, it builds so much. So it starts here with like a little dream and a foundation, and then it builds these roots to help other people. So it's like, this work is so powerful, but it starts with one person. And so if anyone hears this, like, and they're resonating or taking notes, if any, like, just because it's hard or it's scary or it feels challenging doesn't mean that you're incapable. And there's so many times where I felt like, I'm just one person. What could I have possibly done? But here I am, still helping hundreds of people, thousands, millions, hopefully someday, all by just continuing down this path. Even though I felt crazy, even though I felt lost, even though I felt alone, sometimes you just have to commit to go first. And that's why I named it Aligned and Unapologetic, because you have to be unapologetic about it. If there's all these sheep going this way, the funny thing is, there's probably not even a gate. There's no one even telling them they have to go this way. They're just following the next person in front of the other. That's how generational trauma continues. We just do what we were taught, and we think that that's the right way. Well, I'm here to break that, like, someone's got to go. Everyone's going right, I'm going left, and I'll be the crazy lady out in the field, just like, hey, I'm regulated. I may look crazy, but I'm here. I'm regulated. I'm happy. I'm calm. I'm healthy, wealthy, like all the things. But it all starts with just going first, like just being willing to get out of your comfort zone and being scared and doing it anyway.
And your whole family is gonna, everybody that's used to that generational trauma and curse, and the sheep, their whole family,
they hate it.
They're gonna hate it.
They do.
Man, I resonate with this so much. I have also feel chosen and called in my family to be that curse breaker. I've seen kids and families around me connected to me. I've seen kids affected by generation trauma. Some I've caused, and now I go, you know what? It's time for me. And I've been doing that. And just to hear your story, a lot of us have these, and nobody breaks it. Nobody has that where they're like, hey, wait a minute.
They don't know how.
We all do this. We all do this. And it just keeps traveling and traveling and traveling. Yeah. What do you think was the catalyst for you to be that generational trauma? I mean, I know obviously the night that your dog saved you, That's a big,
Sure,
but
yeah.
inside, what was that catalyst to like, I need to do this, even if your family doesn't pay attention, right? Even if they don't watch, you still need to do it for the generations after you. What was that moment like? Or maybe it wasn't a moment, maybe it was a time period, you know?
Yeah, there's so many moments, including the one where my dog saved me. There's so many moments. I think it's just, man, that's a good question. Because that's actually something I've almost like battled with this year because there's been so many times where I'm like, where, like, what is my purpose? What is my role? My own family's rejecting me. My friends have rejected me. Like, what is this? You know? But it's just felt like I was almost chosen. Like my soul was chosen for this. So I don't know if it was like an exact time. But it feels like, and this may not make any sense to anyone who's not like super spiritual, but like there's like a feeling in my body of like I wasn't meant to fit in with that crowd, with the crowd, to just keep going, to just keep going even though you're exhausted, keep going because that's the way your parents did it, keep going because you know that's the way you should do or supposed to be. Like it just never felt right. And it was like I was trying to shove my square peg in this round hole and it just never fit because it was never meant to fit. So there was a many catalysts that showed me that this is the work that you got to do. And a lot of it was the results that I got by taking very uncomfortable action. Because when I got myself out of that survival mode and I was able to regulate myself and my emotions and realize that, yeah, I'm allowed to be angry at my family. I'm allowed to be angry at the way that I was treated, the things that have happened to me, my body over time. Like when I just kept going and I kept taking action, I realized this allowed me to have more calm and more peace in my body, better connections with my husband and my friends and my family. And all of this gave me such peace and such calmness and such relief in the body that I was like, this is it. Because I've tried everything else. And I'm telling you, if there was another way around healing to get to this goal of being happy, healthy, wealthy, all the things, I would have found it. Like I'm very confident in that. Like so confident because I would have found it because I was looking in every corner, everywhere except for where I needed to look in, which was inside. So the catalyst was doing the inner work and realizing that you are chosen, you're meant to be exactly where you're meant to be, even if you're struggling, even if you're in pain, even if you're not connecting with the people. I mean, I had a falling out with my sister last year because I chose to keep some personal things to myself, and that lost a lot of people. So it's really like just doing the inner work is the catalyst to more. It all starts within. How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about the things you're doing day to day? How do you feel about your children, your friends, your everything? Is those feelings are need to be heard and validated and loved and seen and treated with compassion, because there's so much of this toxic hustle culture that's just keep going, keep pushing. And so if I would have just kept pushing, then I would have kept forcing. So really, like, I stepped back, I started to trust, I stopped doing so much and I started being and allowing myself to be okay with it. Am I okay with me being messy right now? Yes. Am I okay with me being happy right now? Yes. Am I okay with me being whatever I'm feeling? Because life's all about balance. So I think, like, truly, the way I knew that this was for me is because I kept taking the action and the action felt good. It felt aligned. It felt like, and there's a feeling in the body. You guys ever done something that you knew like your body wasn't on board with, but you're like, well, I'm supposed to be doing this? This happens a lot with parents. They're over here being told to spank their kids because that's what they were parents showed them and that's what their parents showed them. But something in your body says, this isn't right. I don't feel aligned. This doesn't feel like this works for me. Listen to that. That is a voice that has been clouded by judgment, by other people, by the patriarchy, by government, by society, by the people around you, by people, by entities, even energies that are foreign and unknown. It's there, but that intuition, that something's not right here, is so important. So There's many things, but the inner work and really just coming home to yourself, like you're all you need, quite literally, in your nervous system on a biological level. It needs nothing to repair itself but space and love and compassion. That's it.
Yes.
So
Yes. I believe.
I feel like this is a really good moment to interject this question that was posted in the thread, because you mentioned a couple of things that tie very well into this. So how do you keep balanced in an online world that can easily take you down from the rabbit hole of being unbalanced?
Yes, I love that question. I think it's intention. Genuinely being very aware of what you're doing when you're doing it. So many of us are just eyes closed, going through the motions, just doing what we're supposed to be doing, many times in entrepreneurship. I mean, there's people who I'll ask one of my clients, who come to me from a different mastermind or something, and they talk about, oh, well, I'm doing this cold outreach process and I sent 100 DMs today. Why am I not making sales? And I'm like, well, were you intentional? Did you just send a DM just to check it off the list? Or were you intentional with this thing? And they're like, oh, well, I just sent a bunch of DMs. That's what I was supposed to do. Right. So this is the same thing here, is being intentional with your balance, being intentional with what you're trying to build here. And it all starts with awareness. If I want to build a 7-figure business, what is that going to take? How do I balance that? It's all about breaking down the bigger goal into something manageable and bite-sized, and then taking little breaks, celebrating along the way, celebrating the efforts rather than the results, rather than being like, oh my God, this year, damn, I didn't make 7 figures. Bad, Gabby. You didn't do it. You didn't do it. You didn't do it. You're not worthy. You're not good enough. You failed. When really, how much did you actually make? Multiple 6 figures, maybe even one 6-figure, $100,000 is still very good money. But we don't focus on that because we were never taught to focus on that. So how you balance the busy and the hustle and the go, go, go is by slowing down and being aware of, is this serving me? Is this moving the needle? Is this getting me to where I feel aligned? Yes or no? Because you'll know. It's not this maybe, it's a yes or a no. And if you don't know that, close your eyes. Tap into your heart. Is what I'm doing right here, right now, working for me? Yes or no? Your brain is closed. Your eyes are closed. It's not going to look around for whatever answer it thinks you need. You're going to answer from your heart. Yes or no? Am I aligned with what I'm doing? And if it's not, pivot. Celebrate every little thing, even if it's celebrating that pivot. Earlier this year, I had my entire company wiped from underneath me. $5,000 gone, stolen from a business partner. I completely restarted. I had nothing. But I didn't just give up. I was like, okay, even this is a win. He may not have paid me in finances, but he paid me in knowledge. And what am I going to do? I'm going to take that knowledge and I'm going to 10x it. And I'm going to take that little bit of 5K and I'm going to turn it into 500,000K, right? Like we're going to just bounce back. But so to balance all these things, you have to realize is there's good and there's bad and there's sometimes messy in betweens. And you just have to be okay with what that looks like and if it's working for you and your nervous system. I can go off and show you what works for my nervous system, but I'm going to encourage you to do the same. Balance looks like awareness. Balance looks like paying attention and tracking some of your habits and how you're feeling. Balance looks like celebrating the shit out of yourself for every little step of the way. Like, did I wake up? Did I say my affirmations? Did I get on a sales call that somebody told me, no, they can't afford it. I don't want your service. And also you suck at this sales call. This is like a worst case scenario. But even then, that's a win, because guess what you're going to do? You're going to go back through that sales call and you're going to deconstruct it and you're going to see where you went wrong and you're going to pivot and you're going to come back. But if we're focused on just the results of I didn't make the sale, well then boom, you're automatically a failure. You failed for the day. And that stuff weighs on you. So celebrating every little bit, even the messy, even the fails, even the complete blow-ups, those are all wins that allow you to grow your business, but also the little things too in your nervous system. Where did I show up today? Where did I go, hey, good job? Where did I take this little picture of me and I kept her by my desk and I told her that she's doing enough today? Where have I slowed down and took a 5-minute break, So I think you're getting a theme here, is a lot of it is celebrating and knowing that you are on the right path. And if you have done the things that move the needle, then that's it. Boom, celebrate. Good job. High five, right? But so many of us don't slow down. We don't celebrate. We don't know how to balance. So another way is time blocking, is, hey, this is what's in my calendar right here, right now. I have a whole hour in my calendar that literally says do nothing. Do nothing. Genuinely. And I don't mean like go sit on the couch and watch TV. I mean like stare at the ceiling as if you're a child looking at Earth for the first time. Just like blinking, staring, nothing. Allow yourself to get bored. Allow yourself to just be. Because everyone here knows we're all going to get our shit done if we just do. We've been wired into us to do. But how many of us sit here and can admit that I'm allowed to just be? Not many of us. And that's okay. So time block the shit you got to get done. Time block the shit that is important that's not in your business as well. So yeah, show up online, do what you got to do. Show up your 100% and then disconnect fully. Hey, if you need me, don't call me. Set healthy boundaries. Tell people, hey, this is a hard stop. I am not free after this hour. If you text me, I will text you the next day. So boundaries, time blocks, celebrating yourself, setting your environment up for success to allow you to balance yourself. If you are knowing you got to take your dog for a walk, but you're sitting at your laptop 24/7, well, go put their leash and collar literally right next to your desk. And every day, set timers, set alarms, remind yourself. Like there's so many ways to stay balanced as long as you lean on the tools, but find what tools work for you. So I could go on and on about balance all day. Word for the year in 2025.
Yeah,
but
like, I always feel like
balance. And if I did, then I had a good day.
I always feel like balance is like a moving target, and it looks different for everybody.
It does.
There's no one right way to balance things because there's so many, life is just gonna life. And then, there's you are changing yourself. And then there are people around you who are constantly changing. And there's a situation that is constantly changing. So it's never done, right? It's never finished.
And let your tools
have it figured out, right? So.
Yeah. And let your tools change with you. Just know, like, there's some times where I've gotten so deeply attached to some of these tools that really, really worked for me. And then when they didn't, I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? Because I was like, I don't understand. I worked so hard to create this powerful tool that helps me. What do you mean it's not working? But like you just said, we're all growing and learning and changing and evolving. We're not meant to stay the same. Even if you have a grand slam offer that signs you 7-figure launch the first day, guess what's going to not sell in 5 years? Probably that same thing, because people change, we change. So just allow yourself to evolve with your growth, because it's going to change over time, and be okay with that. I think what I've talked about with one of my friends lately is being okay with what you're going through. There's so many times, myself included, over the past month in December is a very hard time of year for me. Lots of flashbacks. I haven't been on my medication. There's just like a whole lot of stuff going on. And I wasn't okay with it. So what did I do the entire time? For the first 2 weeks of those awful withdrawals, I tried to fix it. I did everything under the sun. I called my friends. I journaled. I did breath work. I meditated. I went for walks. I exercised. Like nothing was working because I wasn't okay with the fact that I wasn't okay. And that right there is an insanely powerful tool to help you balance the chaos and the resting. Because if you're just never okay with where you're at, it's going to feel like you always have to do something different to change, to grow, to do all of that. But sometimes you just have to sit with it and wait for it to be over. So
yeah, very powerful.
I
love that. Thanks for holding it down, ladies. That my life was lifing and my router was having some issues.
No worries.
Dinka, you got any other? I know you got the list. Why don't we hit another community-based question?
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Let me see what we have. How has being an online community leader transformed you?
How has being a community leader transformed me? Well, it proved me wrong in all the best ways. The thoughts in my head that I thought I couldn't do it, or I'm not good enough, or I don't know enough, or I look silly, or, I'm over here being so vulnerable and people don't want to hear that. Yes, they do. Not only did it work, but it's continuing to work, and it helps me be a leader in my space by just showing up. And I just prove myself wrong over and over and over again. Because to be honest, I'm my only competition. I don't like to compare myself to anyone else because I don't know where they're at. They could be at step 60 and I'm at step 2. Someone else could be, somewhere just completely different. So I think when I show up as the leader and I just show up aligned and unapologetic and messy, and I choose to learn from the mistakes and just keep going, it helps me show up more for other people, and it makes me not only connect with them deeper, but realize like not only do I know what you're going through, but I've lived it, I've experienced it, and I know exactly what you're going through. So it just helps me continue to show up in the ways that I need to show up, even if it's scary or even if I feel that fear. It's just, yeah, a lot of proving myself wrong over and over and over again. I actually have it written on my whiteboard: do what scares the fuck out of you. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
you even
also have a
said
little
that was the reason
swear.
why you wanted to book the 1st of January on the summit.
Exactly. I did.
I
Yep.
love
Because,
that.
you know, I've not been the type to go first ever, ever. In fact, my favorite number is 3 for a reason. 1, I'm the third oldest. 2, that number's just been really powerful and connected with me for a long time. But also, I've never gone first because it's always genuinely been like, you don't know enough. You aren't good enough to go first. Like, you just aren't in the front. That's just not who you are. And I've heard so many people, including Dr. Stephen Bashima and Jamie Coleman and Rob Dial and Amar Assad, like all these millionaires are over here telling me, not only are you enough, but you are doing the things that a lot of people are afraid to do. And it's inspiring and like, don't stop. And I was like, okay, like it's working. So just the more action you take, the more you prove yourself wrong that you can do it. And that not only can you do this, but you can go chase that next goal too and crush that too. Like the confidence that comes by doing the hard things, not the things that you know low key that you can do. I'm talking the stuff that you're like, nope, hell no, absolutely, count me out, not gonna happen. Those things. So
I
Yeah,
won't hurt
here,
you or
here
kill
you
you.
are.
Do it.
Here you are setting the bar for all the speakers on the summit now.
Yes, 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 she is.
yeah, do what scares you, man. Because your
Um,
triggers and the way that you feel like the things that get in the way, they're not meant to stop you. They're meant to challenge you. They're meant to make you better. But we're taught to stop instead of push through.
Okay, let me see if we have some other. Okay, there's another one. What are your top five foundations for a vibrant, transformative community?
Top 3. Can you repeat the question one more time?
What are your top 3 foundations for a vibrant, transformative community?
Okay. So I didn't have time to think of this before, so this is kind of just on the fly. So these can go in any order, really. But I think one of the most important is being authentic. When I tried to copy while I was on Instagram, I was trying to like copy all these viral reels and do what everyone else was doing because I genuinely thought that's what I was supposed to do. I did this also in my life, in my relationships. I did what other people would do because I just thought that's what works until excuse me, I tapped into my own intuition and realized, okay, what works for me. So I think the first one truly is like being authentic, because when people feel you just being your like natural goofy self, they want to be in your space. I started being so weird a few years ago when I met my husband, and the word weird is like a bad word in our house. So you never want to be weird. You never want to be the oddball out. You never want to draw attention to yourself, like never. If anyone is here in astrology, like I'm a Leo. That goes against everything in my bones. Like, what do you mean? I
Take up
can't
space, like
take
show
up
yourself
space.
off. Yeah.
Exactly. Be myself. Like, what? And so when I stopped doing that, when I stopped trying to mask this version of myself, that's what really started to thrive in my community, because people were just like, oh, she doesn't give a fuck, like at all. Like there's this like running theme in Business Breakthrough, and everyone's like, you already know what Gabby's gonna say when someone judges you. What is it? Fuck them. Because it's just truly, it's how I feel. It's like, you know what, if you're just authentic and funny and yourself and just silly and goofy and whatever authentic means and feels to you, those are my definitions, but that shows a lot of courage and just personality, and that really thrives here on Skool, because people want to see you just in your own element, just like being a little weirdo, just like so authenticity is definitely a good one. I'd say action taking is another really good one, because when people build rapport with you, the biggest way to get people to buy anything from you or just even connect with you, doesn't even have to be sales, like even just calls, like for connections, is taking action. They want to see you go first. And that's actually the only way to really change another human being's behavior, is by going first. Like, how many of us have been asked your partner or your mom or sibling or friend or family to do something, or start to do something, like take care of themselves, I don't know, journal, go to the gym, like do, just treat yourself better, and they didn't do it. Like, I've been that so many times with my siblings, my family. But then guess what? When I started going to the gym, when I started being kinder and nicer to myself, when I started doing the things that I was asking of them, it naturally fell into place, because we are all just habitual creatures. We see everyone else doing things and we're like, I see that it works for them. I see that they're getting the results that I want, so I'm going to go for it first. But if you just talk about it all day, every day, and say, this works, this works, this works, not only are you just louder with your words than actions, with people don't like, but you lose that sense of trust, because they're like, cool, you're telling me to do this with your mouth, but you're not
But you're not
showing up
doing
with
it.
your actions.
Yeah,
And many people
exactly.
really thrive with that action taking. They want to know that it went first, because they know that it works for you because you went first. So authenticity, taking action. And then let's see, the third, for community, what do I really see thrive? I want to say being messy, but I think that goes with authenticity. So I'll end with
I think we covered a lot of ground.
clarity.
Yeah,
It's like
okay.
that. It's like clarity,
Yeah,
knowing
I was
probably.
just gonna say that too. I think you nailed it. Like, I don't think we
Yeah.
need it. You don't really need a
Okay.
third one.
Yeah. I'd say, yeah, if I had to throw a third on there, it'd probably just be clarity, because like that's the best way to know how to take action, is to be clear what you're doing here. So,
And I
yeah.
truly feel that also as a coach, or as a person, you can only coach someone else to your own level of transformation. You cannot coach them beyond the point that you are, as you were saying, like talking about it and not doing it. It not
Yeah.
only feels unauthentic, but in the end, it will also, it's just a bubble. It will burst eventually,
Yeah.
because everybody can see through it. Like, oh, she's saying that, but not really doing it. So I think that kind of almost ties together what you were saying, authenticity and action taking. It's almost like in all in one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
great advice.
Good
All right,
question.
let's see what else do we have here. When the world overwhelms, where do you go to quiet the noise, and what do you do?
Love this one. I used to listen to a lot of music, but lately I go inside, if that makes sense. Like, I shut the world out and I go in, and I meditate, or I'll be outside in nature with my chickens or my dog. But the most important part for me when I feel overwhelmed is silence, because so many years I did what everyone else was telling me to do, and that same square peg round hole feeling came back time and time and time again, that this isn't for me. And so when the world overwhelms me, I need space. I need silence. I need to just be with my own intuition and nobody else. Because so many times we go external, we ask everyone, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And sometimes we don't like the answers. And we're like, oh, why would you suggest that? It's like, well, because you just asked me what I should do. Like, what do you mean? So I think when I started to deeply trust my intuition, that's when everything changed. And I know that I ignored my intuition for a while because I felt it, and I was like, with the company that I was with Breakthrough Island, I was like, yeah, something's not right here, but I ignored it. So then at the beginning of the year, when I completely restarted my company, with what felt like scratch, now when I go for walks, I don't listen to music. When I meditate, I almost very rarely listen to anything with words at all. It's like meditation mix music, like just words, just vibration, just specific vibrations, actually, that resonate with each of the chakras, because they all each hold their own frequency. So I just tap into my intuition. What does my body need today? I put my hand over my heart, my hand over my belly, I close my eyes, I say, what do I need today? What does my inner child need? What are my parts? Because there's different parts of me that need different things. So for me personally, I just silence the noise. I go for a walk. I sit, I rock, I sway, I shake it out sometimes because sometimes I'm feeling somebody else's energy that's not even my own, someone else's thoughts that's not even my own because I'm deeply empathic and highly sensitive. So it's just releasing and sitting with myself and allowing my intuition to just tell me where I need to go because each and every one of you have a very powerful intuition. It's just sometimes trauma can mask it so you can't quite hear them, but they're in there. They're always there. It's just we've been taught not to listen.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. I always say that we are the technology, like the human body is the technology, and we just have to learn to listen and learn to, read the user's
there's a
manual.
secret language. There really is. We each have a secret language of the body. We just never were taught to listen.
Yeah, I would really love to know your human design actually, because I'm very much into that. But that's something, it's a whole different, rabbit hole that we're not going to dive into now. Let's see if there's some other questions here.
While you're looking at that, I kind of have one that she just said that popped up for me. Fellow lifelong fear of abandonment guy here. We might be related the more we talk. Like, I don't know what's going on here. When you attach, sometimes we tend to attach to people. You believe in somebody, you attach, and you don't know when to let go. What kind of life lessons, and yes, I'm talking about that. What kind of life lessons have you learned about those moments where you've had to go, wow, this isn't the right person to follow? I need to listen to my intuition, because I've had it plenty of times in my life where I get clung on like, oh, these people accept me, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, they don't really though, they're using me. So what kind of lessons around that have you learned?
Well, first, before I go into the lessons, I just want to say that no matter how many times you've been abused or abandoned, if you pick someone like this or attract them into your life, it is not your fault. You're not broken. This is simply the law of attraction. This is the way that your nervous system is wired to crave certain things. And sometimes if you grew up in a household that was really chaotic, very stressful, very traumatic, you then tend to crave a little bit of that chaos. So you attract people who are familiar. And sometimes these people who are familiar are not healthy for you. And this is what I like to call or this isn't my term, but the familiar hell and an uncomfortable heaven. So we all want to get into our uncomfortable heaven. We want to change. We want to grow. We want to be somewhere else. We want to be a different version of ourselves. But we don't know how because we're so used to being with what we know. And sometimes this means going back to a relationship that's very toxic. This could be a friendship. This could be a romantic relationship. This could be a business partner. This could be many things. So just before I even go into it, just know if you're attracting some people who aren't very good for you, it's not your fault. It's simply a number of things, and just don't beat yourself up for it. But for me, what I started to notice is that my mind was starting to convince me that I wasn't feeling what I was feeling in my body. So that's why I like to shut my eyes off, shut my brain off, shut my eyes, and really focus on what the body feels. Because when I was with this business partner, my brain wanted so badly to believe in him. I thought he was family. I thought he was, going to be okay with our relationship. I really thought like I could help him. I also have this deep sense of a healer in me that I want to fix it. I want to help other people heal because I know that's what I never had to. And I know that's a trauma response and that's okay. But it showed up in my body first. And then I convinced my mind that my body did not feel those things. So for me, it was a gut feeling. Something felt wrong in my stomach and then again in my chest. And then it kept happening over and over again. And it felt like that square peg in the round hole again. Just that something here isn't right. Something here is not aligning. So when you want to help someone and you you have such a big heart, and that's okay, because some of us people with big hearts oftentimes get hurt, and that's our burden to bear. But I think is if you just trust your body that it knows what is true danger and it knows what's not, and to start listening to that the moment you feel it. Because sometimes it's too late and the damage is already done. But a big part of that is awareness, is if you did start to feel something and you ignored it, don't beat yourself up for it. It's okay. Just lick your wounds and bounce back, because it'll show up in your tension. Sometimes it's a headache. Sometimes it's physical anxiety. Sometimes if you're near that person and they start stressing you out, like it shows up in the body. It's just all a matter of paying attention to it.
Yeah. It's really powerful what you said about how you attract the same things. I was a guy that was like in serial relationships, right? Like I was in a lot of relationships from a kid,
Yeah.
fear of abandonment, my father leaving early, right? So I was like
Mhm.
wanting somebody to like be that
Yeah.
my right hand, you know?
Mhm.
I always went with people that were very similar to me, with chaotic
Mhm.
lifestyles, chaotic the way they grew up, broken families. Everything was
Yeah.
like the same. We were broken and this
The
and that.
trauma bond. Mhm.
Yes, and it always ended up the same. So this time I told myself when I was going to get into another relationship
Yeah.
at all, ever, I was going to do everything different. I didn't want them to be much like me at all. I wanted them to grow
Mhm.
up different, be different. It's crazy. I found that, and it's true. Its own percent.
Mhm.
Like, listen to you. I'm like, oh, that's why I'm now experiencing a healthy relationship, because it's
Mhm.
not the same thing that the universe kept giving me to teach me the damn lessons.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
wasn't listening. So this
Yeah.
time, just doing different, you listen. So thanks. I think that's what's really powerful about. We have 32 more of these guys. I think that's
Mhm.
what's really powerful about this is I don't know how many times just for me personally, you said something. I'm like, oh, that's where I was in my journey. That's why
Mhm.
I did this. And I hope that continues to happen this month. But thanks for thanks for your amazing answers. Like every time you go
Of
more in
course.
depth than I expect. And it's bringing up a lot for me. So thank you.
And it's
Good.
beautiful to see
Yeah.
that you really walk the talk, because your authenticity and your action taking is very obvious in this call.
Aw.
And if you read the thread later on, there are definitely other people who resonate with your story. And I think that's really why we are here, to connect with each other. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole point of this video game called life, that we just
Yeah.
have to kind of find a way to connect with each other. And the way you do it is really beautiful. I want to share something because it's a practice of mine. Every time I get on a call, I kind of tune into the person's energy and I draw a card. And for this call, I drew this card, which is the
Aw.
White Witch, and it
I
says
love
"Be the
that.
light." So I
Be the
really feel,
light. Oh,
yeah.
I love
So
that.
I really feel that you brought the light today, and what a way to kick off the summit. I mean, you really set the bar for
Yeah.
everybody. I really enjoyed this talk, Gabby, and I already feel connected to you, and I feel that this is not the last time that we talk, for sure.
Aw.
So,
Yeah.
You see all the emojis and like the hearts and like
yeah.
just I that says it all, Gab. I don't even have
Yeah.
to I don't even have to sit here and thank you 100 times like this was aligned. This was the right call to start this. We are gonna end all these goals a similar way by asking each guest, what does evolution mean to you?
Hmm. Evolution means to me to commit to the changes of life. There's gonna be a new level, new devil, no matter what you go through, and you're just gonna have to go through it, because that is what makes it beautiful. That's where all the lessons are learned, is through the messiness. So just be committed to change and be excited for what's to come, because you are so much more capable of beautiful growth than you know. So, yeah.
Gabby,
Amazing.
I can't thank you enough for this. Day
Mm.
one, Gabby Roberts. Guys, the affiliates live, it's $33. Sarah Geelan did something on the kickoff call. She figured it out. She went like by an average of what every person would charge per hour that's a guest here, and it came out to about $5,000 for all of these
Mm.
hours that we're going to put of value in here. Spread the word, because I think what just happened today, we need to keep cultivating more of that. Evolution 2026 is going to be bigger than we expected just on a growth standpoint. Thanks, Gabby. I have a journal of notes that I'm going to go
Aw.
through and just enter. inside of myself, just of the stuff you said. So if
Oh.
do you have anything to add before we end this day one of Evolution 2026?
Yeah, I'll just end it the way I end my podcast always is be fearless, be free, and do it your way.
I thought that Mark raised his hand, or I don't know if that was on purpose, but I just kind of want to check if there's anything that Mark Lawrence, if you wanted to say something or ask something, or was it by accident?
I love that idea too. If there's anyone, yourself off mute, now is the time. We have time here on the call. If there's anybody that has a question, go ahead.
I don't know if they can unmute themselves. Maybe I'll unmute Mark and then he can.
They might not be able to unmute themselves. I didn't think of that.
Hey. Hi, Gabby. Can you hear me?
Hey. Yes, I can.
Difficult because I feel you are my soul sister.
Oh. Yeah. Tell me more.
Me being my authentic self with tears in my eyes.
Oh. You deserve to be your authentic self.
Yeah. And, you know, my story is very similar to yours in many, many ways. So what you've said today has been extremely powerful, extremely authentic, and I thank you for that.
Thank you.
And coming into this at the age of 65 with 50 odd years of healing, knowledge and experience and around the world, you know, you're chosen, and I put that in a note. You are chosen, you have been chosen. And I learn something new every day, and I've learned a lot from.
Good. I'm so honored.
So thank you.
Thank you. I'm always in your corner.
And this is what it's going to all be about, guys. All
So
month.
beautiful.
Gabby, I'm welling up. Just you can feel the energy here, and that's what it's going to be about all month. Is somebody is going to touch somebody. Gabby, I think you touched everybody on this call today, guys. I'm going to do a thread. I know we're going to post the video for everyone that has access to watch the recordings. I'm going to do a thread afterwards. Drop your love for Gabby. Drop your extra questions. Aligned and Unapologetic. Get over there if you're not there now. It's a beautiful community. It's a space of healing and peace. Thank you, Gabby. That's all I can say to end this. Is you started this in a beautiful way, and it's super aligned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabby.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.